It's the morning show right here on ETV on a motivational Monday. Such a great conversation talking all things basketball. But now we move from the gear of basketball to the gear of International Women in Engineering Day 2025. And we're shining a spotlight on a phenomenal woman whose work is literally taking South Africa to new heights. Professor Claudia Polese is an aerospace engineer, researcher, mentor, and a change maker. From cutting-edge advancements in aerospace manufacturing to her powerful leadership in education and transformation. She's breaking barriers and building bridges in STEM, and she joins us this morning to tell us all about that. And of course, in the efforts of encouraging many other young girls, young women, to show them that it's possible, to show them that they too can thrive in STEM and engineering, but of course, to be able to show us the power of South African women. Professor, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the morning show.
Thank you so much for having me, and great to be here. I'm sorry, so sorry that I can't be in studio with you, but greetings from Italy. I literally flew over on Saturday, so I'm sorry, this is the best I could do.
No worry at all. We're just glad to be able to celebrate you, celebrate your achievements, and of course, just be able to encourage so many other young women and young girls and other women that may be listening to this conversation, so don't you worry at all. But let's start off by talking about some of your achievements, right? You've had incredible achievements in the aerospace engineering world. But I'd love to go back to the young girl who fell in love with this space, who fell in love with STEM and imagined the unimaginable and is now living the dream. When was that moment where you were drawn to this field and fell in love with it?
Funny enough, I was dreaming to become an astrophysicist. And because at that time, we used to have in Italy an amazing scientist. Her name was Margherita Hack. And she was the first female director of an astronomical observatory. And that's where I wanted to go. But then I went and attend some classes in the physics at the Physics University. And it was really not for me. And I have friends that were studying aerospace engineering. And I said, let me go and have a look. What is that about? And I think that something just clicked, because I feel so much more at home, and on top of everything else, I love to travel, I love to fly, and I say, you know what, it's not space, but it's close enough. So that's why when I actually started.
Yeah, look, it's really not space, but it's definitely close enough, and I think it's so beautiful to be able to see how you've kept it for all these years. You've brought in some of your passions and, of course, your love for flying, and it's paid off because fast forward years later, you receive recently the NSTF SARS 32 Engineering Research Capacity Development Award, which is a milestone of an award. I was reading up on it leading out to our conversation. I'm just like, man, this is a big deal in your space. And I'm sure it must be a big deal for you and being able to be recognized for this.
I must admit, it was absolutely amazing. As you said, it was, you really feel seen. You feel like people really starting to understand all the effort that you put in that space. And funny enough, I'm apparently never in the right place in space. Yeah. Because the night of the award, I was here. I was with my best friend in the garden at home and just watching the event online. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, they're calling your name and because you're not nominated. But when they say, oh, you are the winner, we started shouting and screaming so much that my neighbors thought we were just, watching some soccer match and someone must have scored a goal. And I was like, no, it's me. So yeah, it was great. I must admit, I really, when you say you really don't expect it, I really didn't expect it. It was true.
Man, that sounds so special, and I'm so glad you got to experience it in that way. And I think it's such recognitions like these. So many times we say awards aren't the reason why we do it, but that recognition matters because it celebrates that we see that you are doing it, and so much so that we recognize the work that you're doing. The research capacity of South Africa has grown, and you've been a part of helping to build that in a field that is so niche that not so many people get into it and get to see the capacity of what it can be. When you look back at your impact into that field and building this research capacity, you probably look back and think, man, a younger Claudia would have been very happy to step into the field that has so much more based on what you've been able to give back to it.
Yeah, look, everything that basically what we really working hard is this laser-based technology, and I won't bore you with the detail, but it was just a something I was working while I was still in Europe, and then when I moved to South Africa, I discovered that we actually have access to a great facility in Pretoria, the CSR, it's one of the National Center for Research. And then I started to say, well, maybe we can give it a try, but we had to start completely from scratch. So I have wonderful students at the time, and we really started we are engineers, so obviously laser is more like physicist kind of work, and we started to move in that direction, and it was really amazing. Plus, we came in contact with so many colleagues, that, as you say, it's kind of a little bit niche. It's obviously not a huge group, but then we started to work with people from Spain, from Germany, from France, Japan, the US. So it's really great, and we have been doing, not to be, but now it's like we really did great work. So in a few number of years, we started to have a very well run facility. And yes, it's niche, but it has application in a lot of different industries. So it's a very applicable process, so not just for aerospace, but power generation, biomedical, mining. So we actually doing a lot of work in different directions. So yeah, it's amazing, and it really was great.
Let's talk to women in engineering. This is a space that we've seen over the years slowly growing, and we celebrate that, but it also feels like there's still such a long way to go. There's young girls, there's women that have a desire to step into the space, but they feel like, man, it's such a male-dominated industry still. What's the encouragement that you share to many other young women to encourage them to hold on to it, to be able to know that there's a space for them within any sphere of STEM, and that they too can be included?
Well, look, I probably because when I started, and I'm not giving away my age, but let's say sometimes in the middle of the 90s, starting to obviously being in the university in this space. And as you say, it was strongly male dominated. So I know the struggle, I know the difficulties, obviously the obstacle, the oops and loops that you have to jump to be recognized, and not just, as you say, like a pretty face. You actually want to be involved in the technical aspect of that. So I'm really trying now to make a little bit easier, or if you want to help girls, and obviously female students in that space, because it's really like a very rewarding experience, okay? But obviously I won't lie, things obviously have changed much, obviously we have many more women in that space at the moment, but there's still, it's not easy, but it's really rewarding. It's something that, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think in light of, the journey that you've taken, for you to be able to say it's not easy, but it's really rewarding. We started the conversation just talking about your love for it and your dream and how you kept it alive for all these years, the awards that come for it, that come from all the work that you've put in. What legacy are you hoping to leave? Because I think in as much as it's indelible within the space and in the professional space at the CSIR and the development of the research facility, what legacy would you like to leave once you step away from the plate that young women, young girls will be able to kind of pick up where you left off as you pass the baton to them?
I will be so happy if I'm literally growing, but we can call it like the next generation engineering and female engineering. And I would love for them obviously to be involved in academia, being like accomplished researchers, locally, internationally, wherever they want to go in the world is open to all of them. But what is really important to me is that we're actually creating well-rounded individuals. And engineering is not obviously or aeronautical engineering is not just about aerospace. We basically became problem solvers. So really dreaming for them to be the one that are making an impact in future and making a difference, especially in this very rapid changing world that we're living in. We always want to be at the forefront and really try to make an impact. And as long as they're happy, they can do everything they want, because really engineering is opening the door to so many different fields. I have students now that they grew with me over the last X number of years, I call it 25, and they are literally everywhere, in different space, in different industries, but they're really doing great. So that's what I really hope to leave behind me.
Yeah, well, and I think it's going to be an incredible legacy that you'll be leaving. Already as it stands, you will be marked as one of those that have done some great work for South Africa and for the space, and we're absolutely so grateful that we can be able to celebrate you. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for the work you do. And yes, looking forward to so many other awards, having you in studio, and of course, just having you be able to give back to this industry. So thank you so much.
Please call me back, but next time you're taking care of the makeup and everything. Yeah?
Absolutely, definitely, we'll sort that out for you. What a great conversation with Professor Polese, joining us right here on the morning show on this World Engineering Women in Engineering Day, and being able to celebrate women that are doing incredible work. And she's doing some great work to build more innovative and inclusive engineering community with where she is. Her story is proof that when women lead in STEM, we absolutely all benefit. And to everyone who's watching at home, let's honor International Women in Engineering Day by lifting up the women who are shaping our world and inspiring the next generation of engineers. And to young minds out there, your dreams are valid, and the future of science and engineering needs you in it as well. It's just gone after 8 o'clock. Let's take a quick ad break, and we've got your final news next.